For the past couple of years of watching BL series, we have seen a lot of cute and fluffy shows which would warm our hearts in a lot of different ways. In this video, I'll be sharing with you some of the most unique BL series that would take our imagination into a whole different level. What BL series do you think are the most unique for your taste? Before that, some of these BL shows might not be available on your country due to geo-blocked restriction. If that's the case, then you might want to sign up to ExpressVPN so you can unlock these BL dramas. Use the link on the description below to have 49% discount plus an additional 3 months free of usage if you opt to avail the 12-month plan. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. First on our list, Color Rush. This is certainly one of the most unique BL series that I've seen because of its colorful plot. Korean BLs are known for having impressive plots and Color Rush is one of those. Color Rush tells the story of Yeon-woo, a mono who can only see the world in the shades of grey, black, and white. But Yeon-woo meets Yoo-han, a probe who triggers a phenomenon called Color Rush. Most of the times, monos are often obsessed with their probes due to their abilities. Because of that, Yeon-woo tries to avoid Yoo-han but the latter makes way to draw him even closer. Color Rush is one of my favorite Korean BLs, although it was indeed a short series. Color Rush can be watched on Apple TV, Viki, and View. Number 2. Gameboys. At the height of the pandemic from 2 years ago, the challenge for BL shows was to adapt in the situation while providing a new way of storytelling. Gameboys did great in both of it, that's why it became a popular series of 2020. Gameboys tell the story of Cairo, a teenage streamer, who is caught off guard when one of his commenters suddenly gives him a video call. He is even more shocked when Gabrielle asks if he could pursue him as his lover. Given the situation they are in, will it be a game-changing opportunity or a game over? When I first watched this series a couple of years ago, I immediately fell in love with its unique setup and the characters. Gameboys can be watched on Netflix. Number 3. Triage. With a high rating on my drama list website, Triage is definitely one of the best BL series you can watch right now. Incorporating medical and fantasy all at once in a BL is something I never imagined before, but it gives me hopes after watching Triage. It's never too late for the industry to give us something fresh and new again thanks to all the writers' creative imagination. Triage tells the story of Dr. Tin, who suddenly loses his will to save his patient's life due to his sister's accident that caused her life. But everything has changed when Dr. Tin has to save Toll, a university student, who suffers from a car accident. Even after failing to save Toll's life, Dr. Tin finds himself in a time loop that will never end until he has altered Toll's fate. Triage can only be watched on AIS Play. Number 4. KinnPorsche. Fantasy BLs are not the only unique shows we have currently, since KinnPorsche also stands out by incorporating some new elements to its story. Action BLs are starting to get popular by now, so it makes sense that this series has a worldwide popularity. KinnPorsche tells the story of Kinn, the second son of a mafia boss, who is fleeing from his enemies. Kinn is saved by Porsche that night in exchange of a huge amount of money. With his great abilities, Kinn hires Porsche to be one of his bodyguards. The moment Porsche accepts his new job, his life will change forever, for better or for worse. I'm a huge fan of KinnPorsche, although I'm not really into action series. KinnPorsche can only be watched on iQIYI. Number 5. Until We Meet Again. Since Between Us has started airing since November 6, I guess it's a good time to talk about Until We Meet Again. It's been 3 years since it had ended, but I'm still in awe whenever I hear the background music. Aside from the reincarnation plot, the chemistry of the couples was also the highlight of this series. Until We Meet Again tells the story of Dean and Farm, who were a couple from 30 years ago as Corn and Intouch, reincarnated in the present time. Dean and Farm are destined to find one another in order to give their hearts a second chance. Until We Meet Again is one of the most heartwarming BLs I have ever seen, but there were also times when it's one of the most heartbreaking. Until We Meet Again can be watched on YouTube and Viki. Number 6. Vice Versa. Body swap plot has always been the most controversial in BL shows, but Vice Versa took it in a whole different level by making a twist of adding a parallel universe. This kind of plot makes me so much excited because it's truly different and unique compared to the BL shows we had from the past. Vice Versa tells the story of Talay, a colorist on the original universe but woke up in the body of Tess in the parallel universe after suffering an accident. In order to go back to the original universe, Talay has to find his port key and achieve what he needs to accomplish in the parallel universe. Aside from the fantasy vibes in it, Vice Versa also has a lot of great and sweet moments between the two main characters which add up to my excitement for this show. Vice Versa can be watched on YouTube. Number 7. Manner of Death. A mystery thriller plot with Max and Tool as the main leads is a dream come true, especially for the fans who have waited for so long since Together With Me Season 2. Manner of Death is one of the BL shows that should have been more popular. When Triage ended, there's a hint that Manner of Death would have a follow-up season in the near future. Manner of Death tells the story of Dr. Bunnicket, a medical examiner, who happens to carry out an autopsy of a dead woman and finds out that it's a homicide case. Because of that, he becomes the target of someone powerful. Dr. Bunnicket conducts his own investigation and all clues led to Tan, but the latter denies the allegations. Manner of Death is a great series to watch even after 2 years since it was first aired. Manner of Death can be watched on WeTV and iFlix. Number 8. Absolute BL. Japanese BLs are known for having a light and fun shows, but Absolute BL took it to the extreme by being so much hilarious. If you are feeling down and want to be motivated by watching some funny series, then Absolute BL is your best bet. Absolute BL tells the story of Mob, a young man who suddenly realizes that he lives in a BL world. Since he believes that he likes girls, he wants to avoid every man who would approach him in order not to draw any attention. But sooner or later, he realizes that he's already caught off guard. There's also a second season of this series, so it's the perfect time to binge watch both seasons. Absolute BL can be watched on Viki and WeTV. Number 9. The Miracle of Teddy Bear. How can we forget the story of Tofu, who both gives joy and breaks our hearts in this series? Although this series is a fantasy one, a lot of topics are taken from the perspective of the real world. It's not the genre that makes this a unique one, but its overall plot. The Miracle of Teddy Bear tells the story of Tofu, a giant teddy bear who miraculously transforms into a young man. Ever since, he's always been Nut's comfort in his most difficult times, and Tofu continued doing it so even after he became a man. The Miracle of Teddy Bear got a lot of cute and funny scenes, but it's also filled with a lot of relevant scenes. The Miracle of Teddy Bear can only be watched on Netflix. Number 10. Cherry Magic. Fantasy rom-com dramas are indeed my favorites, not only in BL series but also in K-dramas as well. Cherry Magic is still one of the best Japanese BLs I've seen in terms of plot and overall production. The main couple's chemistry is also a chef's kiss. That's why I'm hoping a second season of this series, even though it already had a movie sequel. Cherry Magic tells the story of Adachi, who suddenly gains the magical ability to read people's mind through touch on his 30th birthday. With his newfound power, he accidentally learns that one of his office mates has a secret romantic feelings for him. Cherry Magic can be watched on WeTV, Crunchyroll, and TVer. Number 11. Dear Doctor. One of the most underrated BL series of this year is Dear Doctor, I'm Coming for Sowell, and I hope that a lot of fans would watch this series too. This isn't a perfect BL, but it's good enough to those who want to try something new. Dear Doctor, I'm Coming for Sowell tells the story of Dr. Praken, a well-known surgeon who will do everything in order to save his patients' lives. But his job isn't quite ordinary because he has to compete with a Soul Reaper. How could the doctor save more lives if death is inevitable? Dear Doctor has a nice concept that makes it one of the most unique BL shows this year. Dear Doctor, I'm Coming for Sowell can be watched on YouTube and iQIYI. Number 12. Once again, time traveling stories can be one of the most complicated stories out there, and that's somewhat true for this Korean BL. Once again nailed the concept, although there were still some plot holes like any other time traveling shows. Nevertheless, Once Again is still one of my favorites for this year because it gives a new flavor of BL series. Once Again tells the story of Jae-woo, a young man who's haunted by his own painful memories. He wanted to turn back time in order to save the man who saved his life 15 years ago. Little did he know, he managed to turn back time before the moment they first saw each other. It's quite heartbreaking, but for me this is worth watching. Once Again can be watched on Viki, iQIYI, and Gagu Lala. Last but not the least, Choco Milkshake. This BL is still currently airing, but I already fell in love with the characters and its story. Although the series is quite short, it never fails to put a smile on my face and completes my day. Choco Milkshake tells the story of Young-woo, who lives alone after losing both of his parents. One day, he saw two young men in front of his house and claimed they were Choco and Milk, his former cat and dog who already crossed the Rainbow Bridge. Now back as humans, the three will have to live on a new beginning while also discovering love. The plot might sound weird, but I'm so much curious on how the story will turn out in the end. Choco Milkshake can only be watched on YouTube. And these are the 13 most unique BL series of all time. If I missed out some titles on this list, don't forget to comment it down below. Which of these BL series do you consider as the most unique? Thank you for watching. That's it, and see you on the next one.